I would love to be more, what's the word? Communicative. I'd love to be more in there with people. And I have had the messages like, where have you been? What's going on? And there's been life and death things going on. They have, like, for real. And it's been a lot. But
the pretending is...
That's what I was about to say. It's the pretense for me. And there's so many people out here depressed and just not being honest. And because telling the truth, like, it kills all the smokes and mirrors, and my life's not perfect, and so you would rather sit down in that depression and fake your happiness than actually be truly happy. I don't get it. It's all back to front. And for me, all this stuff, I've said it like, okay, and I'm passionate about it because I recently now, coming back into the music team, I have to ask myself, well, what is it that you're representing here?
Do as I will, do what thou wilt, is the whole of the law, said Aleister Crowley. And John Lennon, and Anton LaVey, and Jay-Z, and a lot of other people revered in this world.
What do people see when they look at you now? If you know me, you know that most things have always been about my sexuality. Let's just be honest. Like, oh, you know, I was brought up not to be vain, you know, and actually appreciate that. And so, like, when you or people see me, I'm not trying to present an image that sounds fake, because I guess you are in a way, but everything I choose is because I like it. My influences are, my mum used to make clothing, sew it herself. And so I was into textures, fabrics, and maybe that creative side of me. I just like the way things sit, feel, textures. But it makes me feel alive. You know, that's just me. But who I am and the energy I give off, it's not because I'm trying to be sexual at all. You know, if you know me, see, I sit in my house looking like a crackhead most days. Is it lie?
Me too.
I do. It's just that I come from a family, you know, you don't go out of your house looking like that. So I present myself with my best foot forward. And so now coming back, I have to say, well, what do you believe, Naomi? And I'm a reader, I'm a researcher, and I've drawn a snake on my head and stuff like that, and walked around with it. I've done lots of things. I'm not just like, you know, the Christian side of me that most people know because of my bishop grandfather and all of that. I've done a lot of things with my life. I'm very, what's the word? I have an inquiring mind. So if you tell me something, I want to know why, and why, but why, and how come? And so I've been the same with the religion that was put on me from birth. That and the Rastafarian thing were always, and it's like, okay, this whole Jesus thing. And then my experiences where things have happened where people go, how did that happen? That doesn't make sense. Like I've said it before in regards to my youngest having epilepsy and almost dying, and was it the first time or second or third? It was the first time. She's laid out on the table and the doctors are putting suppositories up her, trying to get her temperature back, giving her injections, and they couldn't bring her around. And I sat next to Eden and I was scared, no lie. We sat on the same chair, but you couldn't tell I was scared. I was just, it's almost like, you know, people say, my colour drained from me. Exactly. It's a sick, and when I'm talking, I can feel it. It's like a sick feeling. It is a sick feeling. She's sitting next to me. It's like it's surreal. I'm waiting for her dad to turn up to the hospital. And I sat there and I said, God, Most High, Hawa, Yeshua, Jesus, because there's connotations with Jesus and the Jesus Borgeas, and Jesus Satan, and the name and the story are separate, and you know, all of that. And I'm sat there with all these feelings going on inside me, and I said, you know what, I'm not sure what to call it. Though I've been brought and baptized in Jesus' name and all of that, the knowledge inside of me says, well, you learned certain things where you know that name's not making sense and some of the stories not making sense. So what do you do in this moment? I did what I did, and I spoke within myself. Eden didn't hear what I was saying. Did you?
Mm-mm.
And I just said, Most High, I'm calm in these situations and I don't know why, but there's a naughty feeling here. I said, I know you can take my child right now and there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm asking you not to do that, please. And yeah, I'm a mad woman if you want. I heard a voice speak to me, and whether that's you say your inner voice, speak it to yourself. Say whatever you like. I know that I don't have the power of life and death. I don't have that power. It's not just coming from me. If that was the case, then I would save the whole bloody world, and I could. We wouldn't have been in the hospital in the first bloody place. Eden found her almost dead. And the voice I heard was, say what I just said again. If, in case you didn't hear, if I had the power over life and death, like everybody's acting like they have all the flipping answers and judging everybody else for what they believe, then we wouldn't have arrived at the hospital in the first place. I would have, when Eden saw her and she wasn't, her eyes were fixed and she wasn't hardly breathing, I would have said, be healed, and that would have been the rest of it. And we wouldn't have arrived at the hospital in the first place. So this is my experience, and I am very passionate about it because I'm sick of bullshit. And I'm trying to find my way as well. As much as I know, the more knowledge you learn is the less you actually know. Yeah? And I said, you said, okay, the voice I heard was, and put away the fear, get up. I thought, get up and do what my legs felt like. If you're sitting here watching the doctors can't save your child, and you read it inside of you, you think,
and she's on oxygen and
everything, and you're sitting there and you're going, you know what, this is probably the end. It's the end. And the thing is, I can't even say goodbye because she's not here. She's not, and I'm feeling sick, and I'm like, you gotta sort this up. Like, this is that, and it was the night of her second birthday.
Second birthday.
Yeah. So it was even more prevalent. It was, it was an awful day. It was an awful day as well. It was awful. And so anyhow, I went over to the table where she's lying. Her dad was over her. The doctor was this side. I don't even remember how many people were there.
There was like 2 doctors at the end of the bed. One with literally
the table.
On her.
Yeah, one was on her. And I just said to her dad and the doctor, could I get to her, please? And they went, yeah, no problem. And you see them looks that everyone gives each other. You know that this is it. She's gonna. They don't want to tell me she's gonna die. They don't want to tell me, but it's cool. It's all right. So I went over to her. I didn't even know what I was going to do, and I bent over and I whispered in her ear, Marley, Mama's got you. The Most High's got you. Jesus got you. Wake up. And she went, and the doctors, you take it from me. What did they do?
The doctors were in shock, and she just rose out of the bed out of nowhere. She was in a whole coma though. Do you know what I mean? She was
having tonic seizures, and then they were losing her. And so when you ask me, well, what do you believe? That's what I believe. I believe that every time I'm in a situation where I couldn't have fixed it, it didn't make sense. Other people have always been part of the things that have happened with me. Like, how? That's all I can say. That is, when you ask me who I am and what am I representing, that I don't know exactly what we should be calling this, but there is a power.
I don't know how you can believe in anything else though, to be honest. Because
me or people in general?
No, just people in general, because believing in the devil, it only makes you end up having your own demise. It's not believing in that, it doesn't end well for you.
It never ends well, ever. Well, look at Aleister Crowley. If people who are plugging in don't know about Aleister Crowley, your man Jay-Z with do what thou shall.
And all of that.
All of that. It's Aleister Crowley. Go and look him up. You know what they forget to tell you? What he said on his deathbed.
Prince of Evil, the king of slaves. What about his peaceful death? On his deathbed, Anton LaVey had a revelation of the spiritual world just as he was about to die. And he uttered his last words, "What have I done? There is something very wrong here. This is all wrong. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law." Whose will are we talking about? Do what thou wilt. is the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. Whose will? Under his will. Under your will. Under the will of whichever man decides to follow this esoteric tradition. This grievous error. It's sad at how misguided it is, but we have to understand that these are the tools of Satan and his minions. On December 1st, 1947, Aleister Crowley died, reported by those around him as his dying words, quote, "I am perplexed." Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keeps the law, happy is he."
He said what he'd done in his life was wrong and he cried. So, and people forget that in this story, since you're picking sides, and I always say life is like a real life Star Wars. When you're picking all these sides, remember, and they say there's devil, there's Satan of the air, sky, earth, there's all these different, they're gods basically, or fallen angels. You know, if you don't believe in that, look at the science. If you don't believe in the science, look at the myths. If you don't believe in the myths, look at the religion. When you all put it all together, everybody's saying the same thing, you know. When you read, I'm a reader, I like to read, you go, hang on, something's going on here, you know. One thing that is true in all of it is these dark evil forces get their power from the Most High Creator. So who's really winning? This is why the devil ain't scared of most of you Christians and people say you believe in God, because you got the power, you don't know what to with it. You don't know what you're doing with it, and I don't care.
Aleister Crowley. Crowley said, quote, "I do not wish to argue that the doctrines of Jesus, that they alone have degraded the world to its present condition. I take it that Christianity is not only the cause, but the symptom of slavery."
On God, I said that. You're giving Satan the devil. No, it's you. You are giving the power away. You are. And we come to change all of that. I'm not no fake. I'm tired of it. You smiling? Yeah, I've gone on my lock it down. Satan, lock it down.
You gotta go. Shut it up, God! Don't come up in the face. Don't come up in the face. Don't come up in the face.
You can't tell somebody like me, and I'm not going to tell anybody like you who the Most High is. I'm just showing you this shit's happening in my life, and I'm not in control of it. I'm not telling it to happen. Yes, I might have a lot of power. I might say, well, you don't know your own power. But if that was the case, I would use this power and heal the whole world and say, stop the blood clot foolishness, and that would be the end of it. And we'd all be bloody happy.
This is why I always say, like, leave things to God, because you don't actually know, like, how much power he has. Like, there's things that we can do on this earth to get things or to get revenge, but really, if you just left it to God, the situations at hand.
How many times have we seen the karma that when people did a bag of things, people do a bag of things to you, you know, and I know what it is, where it hurts you so deeply. You just think, why is everyone still skinning with them? Why are they still thriving? Remember, the Most High reigns on the saved and the unsaved, the Christians like to say, you know what I mean? But you see karma or seeds being sown. You could not even make up the kind of karma that people receive or you receive back. When I am viewing with my own eyes when people thought it was funny to laugh at me and my children and the things we were going through. In fact, they were the ones that heaped the pain on us and stirred the pot and laughed. And the karma coming back on them is a mazza. I couldn't have, all my hate that I was dealing with and trying to forgive and trying to let go. That's a shameless plug. My song is called I Pray. To let go, so karma can find its home. Naomi the Empress.
Why are you singing it like that?
Because I want to.
I'm not going to take you seriously, bro.
But yeah, like, honestly, Eden thought today, that's what we wanted to talk about, because obviously when we first started, you know, we had our little quarantine conversations, and at the end of the day, you know, we're finding our feet. There's been a lot going on, and we, you know, our main thing is to bring people motivation, connection, love, peace, you know, knowledge and all of that. And what we find is lacking is that there's, finding your tribe, people of the same kind of mind frame and thinking. And I find,
community.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid to say how they really feel. And then they come in your inbox and say things. They don't say it on your page. They say it in your inbox, or they message you. And, our presence has been lacking. We haven't been where we're supposed to be and the rest of it. And actually, I would like to be a bit more social. I would. But I've been protecting my energy because I'm waiting for these right people to come true. And I'm not saying I know everything, far from it. I'm a person, if you know me, I'm always reading, aren't I? I'm always learning something new. I'm always seeing things from other people's perspectives. I think maybe, some of my things are because I've been raised a certain way, and, my main thought process is one thing. I might be viewing things from that perspective when really actually I need to see it from another perspective, and maybe I'll find out that I'm wrong. I'm just saying, maybe I've gone on a little bit of a rant. Was I ranting? Don't care. Maybe.
No, but it's very true. Like, it's hard to even find your tribe in this time because everyone's just moving off different types of energies, and you think, oh, this person supports me, or this person is my friend, but deep down it's like someone's trying to get something from you, or like steal your limelight, or break you down, or tell you, oh, that's not good, try do this, and then it's something devilish or something that's just not to do with your heart or what's in your heart, and you kind of forget who you are as a person because this is what's trending, but what's trending isn't righteous.
You see, I like that there, because you know what, I just feel like people don't believe in anything anymore. They have no thoughts of their own. They've got no critical thinking. And if you've got an ounce of compassion, empathy, it's laughter. It's, for some reason, it's hilarious. And the way I look at the scenario is, I liken it to being a student or a teacher. I've been both in a classroom, and you've got that prat that always causes problems in the classroom. He's flicking paper, he's saying dumb things when the teacher talks. I say he, it could be she. And, is always causing issues so that everybody else can learn. Yeah. And that's how I find people now. You've got like a minute of concentration, then you're bored.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, there's not much like attention.
And so it's easy to fool people if they don't think, isn't it?
Attention span's short.
And let's not start about the robots. It was an aunt of mine that told me, is it 2016 or 17?
16, 17.
That
it's gone into 17.
They passed a bill to make it a criminal offence to attack a robot. I was like, but there's no robots here yet. Them start that already. They're already passing the bill. And I saw a video. You saw it? Did you see it? Michael saying...
the
right.
robot.
What was her name?
I'm Chloe.
Could you tell us a little about yourself and what you can do, Chloe?
Of course. I'm the first personal assistant built by CyberLife. I take care of most everyday tasks like cooking, housework, or managing your appointments, for example.
Anyway, and she was talking. I mean, I've been telling people for a long time about these things, right? As always. This is why you're so easy to be fooled. And even the war, all of these things are happening because people are asleep. They told you to stay in your yard. You never argued about it. Hardly. There are some people that went out and said hell to the Nizzo, but the majority of people just turn on Netflix and they turn on Google Box and they just sat there.
And I understand you're the first android to have passed the Turing test. Could you tell us a little more about that?
I really didn't do much, I just spoke with a few humans to see if they could tell the difference between me and a real person. But it was a really interesting experience.
Now there's a whole war now. The only time you're going to be interested, because Russia and what's it called?
Ukraine.
It's only up the road. Great Britain is tiny. on the map.
Very great, sorry.
It's tiny on the map. It's not very great. It's full of people that are obviously clearly retarded.
But this is the first time in history that man has created a machine more intelligent than himself. I gather your brain can perform several billion operations per second. Is that right?
Absolutely. But I only exist thanks to the intelligence of the humans who designed me.
I said what I said with my hair sticking out there. I don't care. I said what I said. Yeah. It's just like...
People are brainwashed in it.
Yeah.
It's point toward a view, but it's worth reiterating. The great majority of people will be managed at home. Great majority. They'll be fine. Even in the most vulnerable, oldest groups, in a very stressed health service, which Hubei was at the point when most of the data come out of, the great majority of people who caught this virus, and not everybody will, survived it. Great majority. It's easy to get a perception that if you're older and you get this virus, then you're a goner. Absolutely not. The great majority of people will recover from this virus, even if they're in their 80s.
It's just like, I'm tired of being stuck in the yard in general. Like the freedom that we had before to go there, here. And unless you basically are retarded, why won't you take the jab? Why won't you read the ingredients? That's my question.
It would be good, I think, to have a vaccine to use for very vulnerable people. But, this is a really important but, nobody else needs this thing. Your body and my body, I'm not vulnerable. I'm not going to be made seriously ill and die. It would be an astonishing thing. 1 in a million. You don't vaccinate the population because 1 in a million people might have a bad outcome. What you do is you look at the people who are vulnerable and you offer them the vaccine with the word offer. Informed consent is important. So it's not necessary. And it's an appalling misuse of a public platform for people to suggest that the only way we all get our lives back is if we mass vaccinate the population. Something very smelly is going on.
Why won't you read the ingredients? Because if you read the ingredients, you wouldn't put it in your bloody body. You wouldn't do that. I'm tired of everybody. I'm tired of all of them.
Infertile and people are still taking it.
And squeezing the arteries that go to your heart, increasing your chances of having a heart attack.
You can't even go to the cinema. And you have to show a vaccine pass.
And even when you take it, you still get it.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing ever.
But the main problem I have with it, as you mentioned, is this notion of being mandated or even coerced. So you don't have to, but you can't travel if you don't. That's the sort of thing. I want your viewers to know that that's illegal under international law.
We really have to have a conversation about this.
I've got double dose.
Got badge on their profile, proud, retard. You know what your thing says? I'm a
Oh no, that's rude. Can't say that word.
Yeah, I know that too. You can't say this. But what you can do is lie to people. What you can do is promote your retardation and your badge. What you can't do is think. What you can do is chat nonsense. What you can do is be.
Just suck it in. I'm nicked.
Oh, is there anyone out there that actually feels like how we do?
It's actually tiring. It's tiring.
Anywho, we come to change up the game. We come to give you motivation. We come to help you think. We come to brighten up your life with my hair that won't lie down.
When did that even happen?
Things are always happening with this hair. So I tell you, I buzz it. This is the first time I've grown it in ages and it's just irritating. But I quite like that. It's going to stay like that. Like, comment and subscribe. See you later. Love ya. Bye.
And they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.